many of us have been victim to managers, bosses, coaches, priests, parents, or other people in leadership positions who didn't know what they were doing. They were like surgeons operating on the heart with a hatchet. Then they wonder why they made a bloody mess of the team they were tasked to lead. What is leadership's role in development? As Richard Branson explained it to me, he said, our Virgin airline buys the same Boeing planes as British Airways, as American Airlines, as United, as Delta. It's not the planes that determine the success of our business, but the people that you put in the planes that make a company mediocre or make it excellent. And so if you are the owner of the business, if you are the leader responsible for leading that business, then your product is not the thing that your business sells. This is a really important point. I hope you get it. You're not in the business of engineering if you have an engineering company, or you're not in the business of the law if you're an attorney, or you're not in the business of plumbing if your business is plumbing. If you're a leader, if you're the owner of the business, then you are in the people growth and development business. People say that I'm in the personal growth and development business. I'm telling you, every one of you in the room, if you are a leader or a manager in a business, all of you are in the people growth and development business. It is your job to grow, to develop, to motivate, to inspire, and to draw the best out of the limitless, untapped potential of the people a part of your team, of your organization, of your business. It is your job to draw out the human magic that will make that business work. As a leader, you're not leading spreadsheets. You're not leading profit and loss statements or balance statements, processes, procedures, or even strategies and systems. You are leading the people who are doing all those things. Your business is the people in the business making the business work, period. The most important thing you can do now that you know you're in the people business is to get to know your business, meaning get to know the people that you lead. What gives them purpose? What gives them meaning and a feeling of significance and a personal fulfillment? And then how can you tie that to their job role, the one that they play in your business? What are they motivated by? What are their core, deep down human motives? Then how can you use that motive and tie it to their day-to-day functions in your business? That's the art of leadership. Who do they care most about? What do they want to provide for those people? Is it a better home? Is it getting into a better school system? Is it saving for university education? Is it going on better vacations? And what is that going to take? And then the art of leadership is, how do you tie those motives of what they want to provide for others to level up their efforts in their job role? When you are in the people business, your objective is to identify their core human needs, those things that matter the most to them, and then align those with the performance needs of their role. Align their goals with the goals of the enterprise and the goals of their role. That's the main art form of leadership, to show them how they can satisfy their greatest human needs through their role in your organization and the achievement of the enterprise's overall mission. And here's the even trickier part to all this. Everybody gets their human needs satisfied differently. It's kind of like love languages in a relationship. Each person's love language is different than another. Well, in your business organization, each person receives affirmation, empowerment, challenge, and inspiration differently. And it's different at different times. Some people need that high five of praise. Sometimes they need a pat on the back. And sometimes they just need an arm around their shoulder. And sometimes they need a smack upside their head. The role of the leader is to have the emotional intelligence to know who needs what, when, and how, and what language to use with one person versus another. Now you might say, This people business stuff is complicated. Yeah, it sure is. That is if you are doing it right. Plenty of people put into management or leadership positions don't have a clue. They are just self-absorbed, completely emotionally inept, and just brutish. Many of us have been victim to managers, bosses, coaches, priests, parents, or other people in leadership positions who didn't know what they were doing. They were like surgeons operating on the heart with a hatchet. Then they wonder why they made a bloody mess of the team they were tasked to lead and why the organization under their care died. The cause is gross leadership malpractice. This is why I developed that leadership development training system called Hero's Journey. It takes you through the development process of how to become a 21st century leader, because it's radically different today than it was in the 20th century. Leadership is not something that you can learn intellectually. It's not an education. You cannot learn leadership in school. It's kind of like getting physically fit. You cannot read a book and lose weight and build muscle. You have to work out. You have to develop your body through exercise. The same is true for leadership. It is a development process. An essential part of leadership is not just leading your team, but growing them into leaders themselves. The world is changing and progressing too fast. You can no longer just breed followers. You need to grow every member of your team into self-motivated, self-sufficient, self-accountable, and self-directed leaders. I'd put it as bluntly as this. The dividing line of competition in the marketplace is this: who can grow and develop leaders faster than their competition? That will be who wins and who loses going forward. The 20th century definition of an organization was an economic entity. As a manager or a leader, you would develop structures, set controls, leverage capital through pyramids of hierarchy, performing rigidly narrow tasks with clear guidelines. But this is the 21st century, and that model no longer works. Not in this rapidly changing, constantly evolving, and accelerating global marketplace and technologically advancing world that we live in today. The number one asset of a company used to be financial capital. Now it is human capital. The number one skill a leader needed in the 20th century was economic competence. Now it is emotional intelligence, with the goal to no longer develop followers, but to develop leaders of all your people. Every person in the organization has to be nimble, flexible, self-sufficient, and equipped to lead their part of the business without having to be told what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. There's no time for that. You'll soon be out of business if everybody operates as followers waiting for their orders from Mount High. The best investment that an organization can make is in the growth and development of their people. The return on increased output is a multiplier. There's no better return on capital. I'll just give you for instance, from my own business and leading my own team. If you take the most productive, high margin, and profitable technology companies in Silicon Valley, California, and you calculate their revenue per employee, our A team, they produce 20 times more revenue per employee than the top companies in Silicon Valley. How is that even possible? 20 times the output? It is because I invest heavily into the growth and development of my team. As a result, they operate and produce at a much higher level of productivity per person and collectively than most other team of people anywhere in the world. So I speak here from experience. It is the best investment that you can make, the investment of growth in your people.